what's up guys, it's me Jake here, and since it's still the beginning of December, I'm deciding to make my November reading log and November manga haul this month. And I didn't get much manga this month, but I definitely read a lot of manga this month, so I want to just talk about it in the video. I'm going to do two videos this week, the reading log, which is going to be either Monday or Tuesday, depending when I edit it, and then my haul, which should be Thursday or Friday. Don't quote me on that, depends on how busy I am this week, but I'm going to say this reading log is going to be a good video. I have a lot of really good series I've read this month, so just stay tuned for that, and let's just go into my first series, which has been so peak. And also, by the way, I forgot to say this, different lighting, because I have a Christmas tree up right now, so I have different lighting right now. I hope you guys enjoy it. I actually like this lighting way more. It's way more satisfying for me to look at, but yeah. But for the first manga I actually read this month, I already read the first two volumes in a different manga reading log, but I read the third one that came out, and it's peak. Dangers in My Hearts. If you haven't already watched my rom-com tier list, the card will be right here. This series has been so good. If you're into any rom-coms or kind of like newer age rom-coms, this is definitely the one. The mangaka, she did a really good job making this series really good with not too much romance, but a lot of romance at the same time, which is kind of a weird thing to say, but I'm going to say she did a really good job with the storytelling within the series, and I cannot wait for more people to read it. Hopefully it gets an anime soon so that people can really appreciate the Dangers in My Hearts, because I feel like this could be a really banger anime. I feel like that could get a lot of people to the series, as not many people are rom-com fans outside of the anime community, such as like the manga community. There isn't many people who just read rom-coms. There's a lot more people that read just shonens or seinens, and I feel like this can open their eyes to a lot of more things, as this it's a really funny, really good rom-com with definitely middle school humor, but it definitely does hit. I will say this volume, such a banger. It left off on such a cliffhanger. I have to wait so long for volume 4, so I'm mad, but I love it. I cannot wait for more, and I highly suggest The Dangers in My Hearts. Now that's the first one. The next manga I read this month, I'm actually not going to go in chronological order, but Cold Night Volume 4, another rom-com in that rom-com tier list. Just click the card from earlier. This I've already talked about a lot. It's a banger rom-com. If you've yet to read Cold Night, definitely highly suggest this. Volume 5 does come out December 14th, so if you're like one of those people who wants like 5 volumes so they can read a bit of it to see what they think about it, perfect time to pick up Call of the Night, as it does have Volume 5 coming out in about 2 weeks from when this video is going to be uploaded. And I'm going to say this right now, you will not be at all disappointed with this series. It's a very satisfying series that does a lot of things right, and I think that Cold Night really, really does well on the things that it does right. I think the romance is kind of taking a step back within this rom-com. It's not a major important factor, as it is definitely story-driven, but it is an amazing romance and an amazing comedy. I think the first volume is not that funny, but as you meet more characters and you get to see more things within these characters, it definitely gets way more funny and way better, so I highly suggest Call of the Night if you have yet to read it. And I know it's kind of getting hard to find because more people are reading it, and this is opening a lot of eyes to rom-coms, so definitely highly suggest it, and I would definitely suggest getting it now before summer, because in summer 2022, the anime is going to come out, and I feel like that's going to have it just getting basically impossible to find, like JJK and Chainsaw Man level, but a little less, because it's a romance, and I think that can hinder it a little bit, but it definitely is a really good story and a really good manga, so I highly suggest this one. The next one is something I've been saying has been so peak, and no one has been listening other than my group of friends on Discord who have read this with me. It's so good. My Hero Vigilantes, Volume 11. If you've yet to read Vigilantes and you're a My Hero fan, you're missing out on so much. Vigilantes has so much going for it, and I really love the cast. I really love how this manga really tells a story within Kohei Horikoshi's world. I love how Kohei Horikoshi said this is canon, and does use some elements within Vigilantes in original My Hero for Aizawa, because Aizawa shows up a bit in this. I'm going to say this right now. This is highly underrated. If this got an anime, a lot of people would be jumping on this, because I feel like this would be perfect for an anime in between My Hero seasons to give you that feel of My Hero world without being a My Hero season. So I definitely highly suggest My Hero Vigilantes if you've yet to see it. It's amazing. I know sometimes it has stocking issues because it's not too popular, but I will say this right now, definitely try to get your hands on it, because it is definitely worth your time. My Hero Vigilantes is amazing, and it's so peak. Love it to death, so I highly suggest this one. Now, next up is kind of a reread of what I've already read, and I made a video on it. The main reason I did was so I can catch up to see where people are, so when I'm talking about Chainsaw Man to my friends, I don't actually kind of get confused and spoil them on something. So I actually just said it. It's Chainsaw Man. I've read 1 through 7. I'm going to read volume 8 when it comes out. If you don't know, I love Chainsaw Man. I think it's a 9 out of 10, but the thing about Chainsaw Man that I think is a weakness for it is I think that the earlier volumes just can't compare to like volumes 8 and on. I think 8, 9, 10, 11 are just so good. I think those are amazing volumes. So I don't think that these first like 7 really can compare to it. And since it's such a short series, people might get turned off by that. But I still think that the first 7 volumes are really enjoyable. It's just that I think the last 4 are just phenomenal. It's just on a different level. And that's why I cannot wait for Chainsaw Man Part 2. Because I feel like Chainsaw Man was just hitting its stride, just becoming this massive, really amazing series, and then it ended. And then you're like, it didn't have a bad ending. I actually really liked the ending because it really gave off Tokyo Ghoul vibes where it ended, and we didn't know if it was going to continue, but it had an ending where it's perfect for continuation if the manga really wanted to, and Tatsuki Fujimoto, of course, confirmed it, and it will be coming back in 2022 at some point, because he did confirm that it's coming out in 2022, just like the anime is. But, my god, if you've yet to read Chainsaw Man, please do so. It's really good. But like I said, there is that con that the first 7 volumes, which is around, I think, 60-something chapters. Let me check really fast for you guys. It is the first 61 chapters, as I think that's pretty weak. And I know you might be like, what, it's only 98 chapters, why is the first 68 not that great? But I do say it's still really good. I think that the first 7 is pretty good, but it gets just amazing after that. So after that, I have a series that I don't know if I talked about in a reading log yet, but I definitely highly suggest it. That's World Trigger. I have the first 10 volumes that I've read, but of course, I don't actually have volume 4 on me. I had to return it to Amazon because I got a really bad misprinted spine, and I was hoping for a replacement, but they actually got out of stock, so I have to wait for it to come back in stock. That's very, very annoying, but I read it online anyway, so it didn't bother me. I'm going to get volume 4 at one point, and I'm trying to collect the rest of the series, because these first 10 volumes were amazing. If you are someone that needs a couple volumes to see if you enjoy it, for World Trigger, I'd say get the first 10 volumes, because the 10th volume is around the end of the first major arc. Of course, it ends probably around what people would say end of Volume 9, beginning of Volume 10. They start a new arc in Volume 10. But in all reality, I think if you're trying to test the waters, I think the first 10 volumes is perfect, as I think this is so good. I actually loved World Trigger. As I was reading through it, I just couldn't stop reading it. I read all 10 of these volumes in like 2 or 3 days. I just couldn't stop, and I was busy in one of those days, and I literally just read like 1 volume. So I mean, I can really just say like 2 days, because this was just so good. I couldn't just drop the series. I couldn't stop reading it. It just made me go, okay, I'm gonna read the next volume. I'm gonna read the next volume. I'm gonna read the next volume, because of how just good this was. I think that this has a potential being in my top 10 once I finish it, but of course it's still ongoing right now, so I can't really say anything. But once I catch up, I'll talk about it, because it has 23 volumes out currently, or 23 is just about to come out, something around there. But it's so good so far from the first 10 volumes. Now next up, I actually had the first 2 volumes of the series in a reading log a while ago, but I reread it because I just didn't read the other 2 volumes, and I wanted to keep my mind fresh, and it was only 2 volumes, so it wasn't that bad. Undead Unluck, I read the first 4 volumes, and my mind has not changed. Out of all that came out in the Undead Unluck era, this is probably my favorite, which is basically like Mashle, Yozakura, stuff like that. I haven't read much of Yozakura, so I can't really say that, but I really don't like Mashle, so I can't really say anything about it. I had the first 2 volumes of Mashle because I want to support it, but if you know, I made a video on it. I don't like it. But Undead Unluck, though, this might get a video in the future, because I highly enjoy Undead Unluck. I think the power system is really unique within the Gators, and I also think the whole entire quest system and all the characters are also really unique within this world. I also think Andy and Fuku, which is the main 2 characters, are really interesting as a dynamic duo, and I think that if it was just Izumo, I can never say her name, Fuku or Izumo or whatever her name is, and not Andy, I think that this series would be literally like way worse than Mashal. But because Andy is there and brings that spice to the main character topic, I think that I have to talk about it because these two together are just inseparable. They're so good. I think that if Andy by himself would be pretty decent and Fuku by herself would be okay, but together they're amazing. It's like they're top 10 within Jump. Actually, top 5 within Jump, not top 10. They're probably top 5 in my favorite characters in Jump. Just because of that. I think that these are amazing characters. The story is really, really intricate and really, really, like, kind of complex, but really easy to understand at the same time. I think this guy, such a Chad. I think he's so interesting, and I think that the twist that happens in this volume made me go like, I did not expect this at all. This was an amazing twist, an amazing reveal. They did it so perfectly. So I have to say, Undead Unluck, definitely highly suggest if you've yet to read it. And I will say, get through the first volume, and if you don't like volume 2 or 3, it's probably not for you, but I think the first volume is definitely the weakest so far, as it's just pretty dragged out, and it's a lot of world building and explaining things. Once you get to know that knowledge and you get into these 3 volumes, it gets way better. So I definitely suggest trying to get through volume 1 and 2, and if you don't like 2 or 3, then probably not continue, but I would definitely suggest reading it, because it is very good. Next up is a series I actually just made a video on like last week, and that's because I read 9 volumes of it in like 3 days. Well, now I'm almost caught up with it, and that's Beastars. I've read all 14 volumes. There's 15 volumes out currently in English. The 16th one comes out in January, and I've read all of these in the past like week. It's so good. It's pretty hard to hold these, so I'm just gonna like go like this and hold the first volume because that's pretty difficult. But Beastars, amazing so far. I think Legoshi, in terms of character, is probably a top 10 protagonist for me. Why you had to fall? Just like my manga collection video when I was reorganizing everything. Everything's falling. Legoshi, amazing protagonist. I think that if you're going to get into Beastars expecting a drama, you're going to get the drama that you're expecting. If you're going into Beastars expecting all of this stuff, you're going to get it. I think that Beastars is a fantastically written story. I would probably give it a 9.5 out of 10. And that is encroaching my top 5 territory so far. So I'm going to say, I'm going to wait for it to finish till I finalize that. And it'll probably be in a manga reading log later down the line, where I kind of binge through the whole series and see and give what I would say is my final thoughts on it, because I hear the ending is you either love it or hate it. So let's hope I love it, because if I don't, then I'm going to be really sad, because 15 volumes of this has just been such a ride. I feel like the twist after twist after twist just hasn't stopped getting better. The character development in Legoshi just has been crazy as of lately, and I think that him as a character I kind of figure out who he is in this world really is an amazing kind of storyline to see. And I think that Legoshi is like leaps and bounds over a lot of protagonists I've seen as of recently. I think he is probably top 5 material for me, and I will say Beastars is amazing. I know I made a video on it. Card's gonna be right here. I know I'm a furry, I guess, because I like it, but it's amazing. I highly suggest Beastars to anyone looking for an action, a drama, something with very dark themes, something that really delves into like lots of different things at the same time, and something that is really a slice of life, but a darker one, because Beastars definitely has that. And I will say that's probably gonna be it for this video, as that's all I read, which I did read a lot this month. Thinking about it, I actually did read at least 30 volumes, I think, so this is going to be probably my biggest, or one of my biggest manga reading logs that I've ever made on this channel, and I'm super happy that I'm actually going to be able to read more manga again. I'm super happy that I actually have been, because, let me just say this, in the past couple of months, I have not read much manga, but this month really got me back into it with World Trigger and Beastars, 2 series that really are encroaching my top 10 and might easily break into it after I catch up and finish them. I think those are just phenomenal series. I definitely highly suggest you guys to actually read them or watch them. I definitely don't suggest watching World Trigger though, because I hear the first season is pretty bad. So I definitely suggest watching Beastars though, because I feel like Beastars has basically a near perfect adaptation in terms of everything in season 1 that I've seen. Other than the last episode, I think the last episode cut out like half a volume, which was really annoying. But they might have put that in season 2. That I never watched season 2, so I don't know. But yeah, I highly suggest all these series I read this month, because I think all of them are amazing. All of them are really good, and all of them, if you like those genres, you will love those series. But I think that's all I have to say. Like I said earlier, there's going to be another video this week. Hopefully it's going to be Thursday, Friday, but it might be later, like Saturday, Sunday, depending on how busy I am this week. But that's all I have to say for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope I see you guys next time. Peace!